Welcome to our channel HD Rare Coin 111, your go-to spot for uncovering the incredible world of rare US coins. If you've ever wondered if your old pennies, nickels, or dimes are worth more than face value, you're about to find out. In today's video, we'll be exploring some truly rare coins and their shocking values. And if you are new to the channel, make sure to subscribe. So let's jump in. Top 1. Imagine holding a piece of American history right in the palm of your hand. Not a document, not a photograph, but a coin. A coin that not only symbolizes the life of a beloved president, but also commemorates the birth of an entire nation. The United States of America Kennedy half-dollar marked with the dual dates 1776 to 1976 is far more than just a 50-cent piece. It's a tribute, a relic, a time capsule that connects generations to the bicentennial celebration of American independence. And what's even more astonishing is that a particular version of this coin has stunned collectors across the world by reaching a value that very few would ever imagine. The Kennedy half-dollar was first introduced in 1964, following the tragic assassination of President John F. Kennedy. Americans wanted to remember and honor his legacy in a lasting way, and what better way than placing his image on a widely circulated coin? The half-dollar was chosen for this purpose, and it quickly became a cherished memento, tucked away by millions as a token of respect and remembrance. But in 1976, something extraordinary happened. To honor 200 years since the founding of the United States, the U.S. Mint launched a special edition of the Kennedy half-dollar with a unique reverse design and dual-dated 1776 to 1976 inscription. This wasn't just any coin. It marked a turning point in American numismatics. This bicentennial coin features Kennedy's iconic profile on the obverse as always, but the reverse breaks from tradition. Instead of the usual presidential seal, the coin displays an image of Independence Hall in Philadelphia, the birthplace of the Declaration of Independence. This design, chosen through a national competition, was a visual tribute to freedom, democracy, and the courage of a new nation rising from colonial roots. Millions of these coins were struck in both copper-nickel and silver-clad varieties. Some were minted for circulation, others for collectors. But among them, a very small number were produced under highly controlled conditions, proof strikes, special mint sets, and trial pieces, many of which were never meant for public hands. Now, let's talk about rarity, because not all 1776 to 1976 Kennedy half-dollars are created equal. While millions were produced, only a tiny fraction possessed the features that elevate them into the realm of extreme collectability. We're talking about coins with mint errors, such as off-center strikes, double dies, or planchet anomalies. Even rarer are those struck on silver planchets intended for a different coin series or with experimental finishes that never made it into mass production. And then there are the specimens preserved in mint-state condition, untouched by circulation, graded MS-68 or higher. These coins are like finding a needle in a haystack, a perfectly struck, perfectly preserved piece of America's 200th birthday celebration. Collectors worldwide are constantly on the hunt for these ultra-rare specimens. And when one appears, especially with impeccable documentation and third-party grading from respected organizations like PCGS or NGC, the bidding wars are fierce. These coins don't sit quietly in glass cases. They make headlines, get passed between elite collections, and stir deep admiration in the numismatic community. What started as pocket change becomes an artifact of both historical and monetary value, appreciated for its beauty, symbolism, and scarcity. So if you ever come across a 1776 to 1976 Kennedy half-dollar, take a closer look. It might look like just another coin at first glance. But if it's in pristine condition, has an unusual strike, or carries that elusive silver composition from a limited proof set, you could be staring at a once-in-a-lifetime treasure. A coin that not only tells the story of a president and a country, but also commands a staggering place in the collector's market. And that brings us to one astonishing truth. A rare and exceptional 1776 to 1976 Kennedy half-dollar has sold for the unbelievable sum of $185,000 in words. That's right, What once was worth 50 cents now holds a value greater than most luxury cars or entire homes. It's a powerful reminder that history isn't always locked away in museums. Sometimes, it jingles quietly in your old coin jar, just waiting to be discovered. Top 2. Imagine you're flipping through an old coin collection passed down through your family. Maybe it's tucked in a dusty cigar box or sealed inside a velvet pouch, quietly resting in the back of a drawer. Among the scattered pennies, nickels, and quarters, your fingers land on a larger, heavier coin. It's shiny, regal, and unmistakably American. You take a closer look and read the inscription, "Liberty in God We Trust," and the date, 1972. You've just stumbled upon a Kennedy $50. But not just any $50, this one could be the kind that turns an ordinary day into an unforgettable one. Because hidden among the millions minted that year, there are rare varieties of the 1972 Kennedy $50 that have sold for astonishing amounts, changing lives with a single sale. The Kennedy $50 was introduced in 1964 as a tribute to President John F. Kennedy, just months after his tragic assassination in 1963. Americans were heartbroken, mourning the loss of a leader who brought hope and vision to a new generation. His legacy was honored not only in history books and memorials but also in everyday currency. The $50 became a symbol of unity and remembrance, and it's one of the most emotionally charged coins in American history. By 1972, the coin had gone through several changes. The U.S. Mint had stopped using silver in regular circulation coins after 1970, opting instead for a copper-nickel-clad composition. While this change might seem small, it opened the door to unique minting quirks and rare errors that collectors would later chase for decades. Let's talk about what makes the 1972 Kennedy $50 so captivating. First, the sheer volume of coins minted that year makes it easy to underestimate its value. The Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco mints produced tens of millions. Most of these coins ended up in pockets, cash registers, or change jars across the country. However, a small fraction of these coins were struck with minting errors or in near-perfect condition, turning them into numismatic gold mines. It could be something as subtle as a double die on Kennedy's profile, a misaligned planchet, or even the rare and fabled No FG variety, where the initials of the coin's designer, Frank Gasparo, are missing from the reverse. These errors, invisible to most people, can drive a collector wild and skyrocket the coin's value. But the real game-changer is condition. The numismatic world revolves around grading, with coins being judged on a scale from 1 to 70 based on their preservation, luster, strike, and overall eye appeal. A coin graded MS-67 or higher is incredibly rare, especially from a year like 1972 when most $50 were meant for daily use. Finding one that has been preserved in such exceptional quality, untouched by circulation and handled with the utmost care, can transform that coin into a centerpiece for elite collectors and investors. Coins like this aren't just kept, they're displayed, insured, and treasured, and here's where the story gets even more exciting. In the world of high-stakes coin auctions, the 1972 Kennedy $50 has made serious waves. A particular specimen, bearing all the hallmarks of rarity, flawless condition, a rare die error, and eye-popping visual appeal, captivated collectors and drove an intense bidding war. It wasn't just a coin anymore. It was a symbol of perfection, a snapshot of history, and a financial asset all rolled into one. And when the final bid was cast, jaws dropped at the number that sealed the deal. That single 1972 Kennedy $50 sold for an incredible $190,000 in words. Yes, something that was once worth 50 cents, a simple piece of change, turned out to be worth more than many luxury cars, entire college educations, or even homes. This isn't just a collector's fantasy, it's a real reminder that value can be hidden in plain sight. So next time you come across an old $50, take a second look. Because behind that iconic portrait of President Kennedy might just be a fortune waiting to be discovered. Top 3. It's a quiet afternoon, and you're sorting through a pile of old coins that have been sitting in a drawer for years. Maybe it's a family heirloom, a random collection you picked up at a garage sale, or just pocket change you never bothered to cash in. You're not expecting much, just the usual nickels, dimes, and quarters. But then, something catches your eye. It's a $50, bold and gleaming, with the unmistakable image of President John F. Kennedy etched in profile. You turn it over and read the date, 1988. At first glance, it might seem like just another coin from the late 20th century. But what if I told you that this seemingly ordinary 1988 Kennedy $50 could be hiding a secret that transforms its value from mere pocket change to a life-changing treasure? The Kennedy $50 has been a symbol of American pride and resilience ever since it was introduced in 1964, just months after the shocking assassination of the 35th President of the United States. This coin quickly became one of the most beloved pieces of U.S. currency, both because of its aesthetic beauty and the emotional weight it carries. Over the decades, the design has seen minor changes, and its metal content has evolved from silver to a copper-nickel composition. But the heart of the coin, its tribute to a fallen president, remains just as powerful today as it was in the 1960s.BY 1988. Kennedy $50 were still being minted regularly, though their presence in daily circulation had declined. People had begun to treat them more as collectible items or keepsakes than everyday currency. Still, millions were produced by both the Philadelphia and Denver mints. That's what makes the rare and valuable specimens from this year all the more fascinating. Out of those millions, only a select few possess the unique characteristics that can turn a 1988 Kennedy $50 into a highly sought-after prize in the world of numismatics. So, what sets these special coins apart? It all comes down to a combination of rarity, condition, and sometimes, minting errors. Some 1988 Kennedy $50 were struck with extraordinary precision, resulting in pristine examples known in the coin world as mint state coins, especially those graded MS-67 or higher by professional grading services. These coins are essentially flawless, showcasing sharp details, brilliant luster, and no signs of wear. They're like frozen moments in time, untouched by the decades that have passed since they were first minted. But condition isn't the only factor. Certain varieties and errors can also drastically increase a coin's value. For example, double die errors, where the coin's image or lettering appears slightly doubled, are rare but highly desirable. Off-center strikes, clipped planchets, or coins with missing design elements like the FG initials, standing for Frank Gasparo, the coin's designer, can transform an ordinary coin into a collector's dream. Sometimes, even small inconsistencies in the strike or unusual patterns on the surface are enough to send collectors into a frenzy. The combination of these qualities, rarity, condition, historical relevance, and era-based uniqueness, can launch the value of a 1988 Kennedy $50 to astonishing heights. While the majority of these coins might fetch a modest sum, the top-tier examples, those few numismatic unicorns, have become stars in their own right, commanding enormous prices at auctions and private sales. Now, here's where things get truly exciting. Among the handful of 1988 Kennedy $50 that have made headlines, one exceptional coin stood out not just for its flawless condition but also for its sharp strike, brilliant luster, and the intense bidding war it sparked among passionate collectors. As the auctioneer's hammer came down, the final price left the room in stunned silence. That one $50, a coin that once bore a face value of just 50 cents, was purchased for a staggering $135,000 in words. Think about that for a moment. A single coin, easily overlooked and often ignored in daily transactions, transformed into a six-figure piece of American history. That's the magic of numismatics. It's not just about collecting coins, it's about discovering stories, legacies, and hidden fortunes in the smallest corners of our lives. So, the next time you find yourself holding a 1988 Kennedy $50, don't just see a coin. See a mystery. See a piece of history. And maybe, just maybe, see a fortune waiting to be uncovered. Top 4. Imagine flipping through a jar of old change, something you've done countless times before. Maybe it's coins left over from past decades, a dusty collection handed down from a grandparent, or just the contents of your car's cup holder. As your fingers sort through the dimes and quarters, your hand stops on a coin that feels heavier, bolder, and somehow more iconic. You lift it closer to your eyes, and there he is, John F. Kennedy, etched into metal, gazing left as if frozen in time. Below his portrait, the date reads 1998. It's a Kennedy half-dollar, a coin many Americans recognize, but few truly understand. And while it may seem like just another relic from the late 20th century, some 1998 Kennedy half-dollars carry more than sentimental value. They could be hiding a jaw-dropping treasure. The Kennedy half-dollar was introduced in 1964 as a tribute to the fallen president. It quickly became more than just a coin. It was a memorial, a piece of history people could hold in their hands. Over the years, the half-dollar saw changes in its metal content and production numbers. Silver gave way to copper-nickel clad, and the coin's use in daily transactions slowly diminished. By the 1990s, Kennedy half-dollars were rarely seen in circulation, which only heightened their appeal among collectors. The 1998 edition, minted just 2 years before the U.S. Mint released the state quarters, sits in an interesting period, a time of transition and renewed public interest in coinage. In 1998, Kennedy half-dollars were minted in both Philadelphia and Denver, and proof versions were made in San Francisco. Most of these coins were produced for collectors, not everyday commerce, which meant a larger number of them remained in better condition over the years. But among the thousands minted, only a select few stand apart, not just in terms of preservation but due to exceptional characteristics that make collectors' hearts race. Some of the most desirable 1998 Kennedy half-dollars are those struck with such perfection that they are classified as mint state 69 or even proof 70 by grading companies. These grades mean the coin appears flawless, even under magnification. The design is crisp, the fields are mirror-like, and there are absolutely no signs of wear or handling. Coins of this quality are incredibly rare, especially in the regular business strike format, making them highly sought after. Even more fascinating are error coins from this year. A few 1998 Kennedy half-dollars have been discovered with minting anomalies, double die errors, off-center strikes, or unusual planchet defects. These aren't just technical quirks, they're anomalies that spark bidding wars at auctions. Collectors are drawn to such imperfections because they represent rare moments when the precision of the U.S. Mint momentarily faltered, creating a coin unlike any other. There is also a special edition of the Kennedy half-dollar from 1998 that adds to the intrigue, the 1998 S matte finish coin. This coin was only included in a special 2-coin commemorative set with a Robert F. Kennedy silver dollar. With a mintage of just under 63,000, the matte finish 1998 S Kennedy half-dollar is vastly different in texture and appearance from the standard proof or business strikes, and is often seen as one of the most beautiful modern half-dollars. If you own one in perfect condition, especially certified by a top-tier grading company, you could be holding a hidden gem. Over time, these unique 1998 Kennedy half-dollars have found their way into serious collections and high-stakes auctions. And while most coins from this year may only bring a modest premium over face value, the rarest and finest examples have proven themselves to be far more valuable. So valuable, in fact, that one exceptional specimen, flawless in strike, preserved to perfection, and desirable to collectors across the globe, was sold for an eye-watering $85,000 in words. That's the magic of coin collecting. It's not about hoarding old change or chasing every piece of pocket currency. It's about discovery. It's about peeling back the layers of history, craftsmanship, and chance to uncover something extraordinary. A 1998 Kennedy half-dollar might look like just another coin to most people, but to those in the know, it could represent a bridge between modern minting and timeless value. So if you come across one of these half-dollars, don't just toss it aside. Look closer. You might just be staring at a small fortune hidden in plain sight. Top 5. What if I told you that a coin minted in the year 2000, just at the dawn of a new millennium, could be worth more than most people earn in a year? Picture this, a coin you might have overlooked, one that probably slipped through your fingers at a gas station or sat forgotten in the corner of your change drawer, now fetching a small fortune. That's the mystique of the Kennedy half-dollar, specifically the one struck in the year 2000. This isn't just pocket change, it's a quiet treasure, a symbol of American legacy that holds both historical significance and astonishing monetary value for the few rare examples that have defied time, handling, and wear. The Kennedy half-dollar was first introduced in 1964, a national tribute to President John F. Kennedy after his tragic assassination. From the moment it was released, the coin captured the attention and affection of Americans. Though initially intended for widespread circulation, over the decades the Kennedy half-dollar gradually transitioned into a collector's coin, as its actual usage in everyday commerce sharply declined. By the year 2000, the coin was no longer commonly seen in wallets or cash registers. Instead, it had become a niche favorite, minted in smaller quantities and primarily aimed at collectors rather than the general public. Now, while the 2000 Kennedy half-dollar may not appear all that different at first glance, a closer look reveals why this coin has become so highly coveted by serious numismatists. First, consider the types of strikes produced in that year. The business strike coins were minted in Philadelphia and Denver, and a limited number of proof coins were created in San Francisco, including special silver proofs. These proof coins, often sold in collector sets, were struck using specially polished dies and planchets, giving them an exceptionally sharp and mirror-like appearance. They were never meant for circulation, and that's precisely what makes their preservation so immaculate. But in the world of coin collecting, perfection isn't just about condition. It's also about rarity, striking anomalies, and provenance. And the 2000 Kennedy half-dollar has it all. Certain era coins from this year have become legends in their own right, coins with doubled dies, off-center strikes, or even coins mistakenly struck on the wrong planchet. These errors, while unintentional, transform an ordinary coin into a museum-worthy rarity. A known example of a 2000 Kennedy half-dollar struck on a Sacagawea dollar planchet has become one of the most talked-about mint errors of modern times. Imagine a half-dollar that weighs less, shines differently, and confuses even veteran collectors upon first glance. That kind of rarity fuels fierce bidding wars at coin auctions and earns a revered place in numismatic history. What makes the 2000 Kennedy half-dollar especially fascinating is its place in the turning point of U.S. coin production. It marked a time when the U.S. Mint was transitioning into a new era, new coin designs, new technology, and an entirely new generation of collectors who were just discovering the hobby. As a result, some of the finest examples of the 2000 Kennedy half-dollar were preserved, not by accident, but because collectors recognized their importance from day one. And when one of these pristine coins, graded as perfect by top-tier certification services like PCGS or NGC, comes to auction, it's more than just a coin for sale. It's a story, a moment, a tangible slice of the year 2000 sealed forever in metal.so. The next time you sift through old change, or browse through a coin dealer's table at a show, pay special attention to the Kennedy half-dollars, especially the ones minted at the start of the new millennium. Look at the date. Examine the condition. If it happens to be from the year 2000 and shows no signs of wear, no blemishes, and has the shimmering detail of a freshly struck proof, you might just be staring at something rare. And if it's one of the known era coins or a top-graded proof? Well then, you might be holding a coin worth $70,000 in words. Now that's the kind of change that can change your life.